This is the Cannabis Podcast on Radio Influence. It's an inside look and the scientific facts in and around the world of medical cannabis. Now, here is your host, Ian Beckles.
Hello everybody, this is Ian Beckles and welcome back to the Cannabis Podcast. I hope everybody had a wonderful week. Before I get this thing going, I want to give much love to my title sponsor, who is Curaleaf Dispensary. If you live in the Florida area and you're listening to me right now, there's going to be a Curaleaf near you somewhere. I go to the one here on Gandy, right across from the Starbucks, not too far from where I am right now. There's one on Northdale Mabry in the Lutz area. There's one on North Florida, Brandon, St. Petersburg. There's one in Clearwater. If you're in the Florida area, there's a Curaleaf near you, I guarantee. So it's my favorite dispensary. For those of you that have been to some different dispensary, it's our choice, and there's a lot of different ones out there. And for people that I've sent to Curaleaf, literally 100% of them say that's the best dispensary they've been to. So everybody has their own, and you won't know what your favorite dispensary is till you really go out there and try them all. So I'll just do me a favor. Before you just lock into your favorite dispensary, go try out Curaleaf, and I guarantee you'll be happy. So let me tell you guys about an event that we have coming up with myself and Curaleaf and Creative Loafing. We have a 710 event. For those of you, 710 is also a cannabis number. 420, obviously, the original one. We're not going to go over that whole story of California, those guys smoking by that tree. Not going to go do that. But 710 has become a cannabis number. If you turn it upside down, it says oil. So that's really the vape part of the cannabis world. So I thought that on 710, it would make a lot of sense to do an event. So we're going to do an event over at Pepin Distributing Center, right near the casino, with myself, Creative Loafing, and Curaleaf. And we're going to have a bunch of different vendors out there, a lot of it cannabis related, and we're gonna put on a good show. We're gonna have some DJs there. We're gonna have some choice food, and anybody in the cannabis world, you're gonna want to be involved in 710. Once again, July 10th at Pepin Hospitality Center, and I'll let you know a little bit more with the details going forward. And check out your Creative Loafing. They'll have them in the Creative Loafings probably starting next week. So we're going to be selling tickets. So you definitely don't want to miss that. It'll kind of rival the Sarasota event I was at a few weeks ago for 420, which I thought was an absolute hit. So keep your eyes and ears open for that. We're looking for vendors as well. Anybody in the cannabis business or cannabis related. So if you want to get involved with the 710 event, get in contact with me. Maybe Instagram's the best way for me. It's Ian_Beckles, or just check me out on some of the other social media. That's the way to get me. Now, once again, Curaleaf, my dispensary of choice. I went there the other day, and I like to go pick up a few different things here, so I have something to talk about every single week. I always ask what the specials are, which is what I always do, and it was buy 3/8, get a 3/8 for free. So you pay for 3/8 and you get 3/4 of an ounce. I mean, that's a pretty darn good deal. And I actually got some brandy wine, which is going to be this strain of the week, and I'm going to talk to you guys about that towards the end of the show. So to me, this podcast, and it's a webcast as well, appreciate you guys listening and watching, and hopefully retaining and absorbing some education, because this is all about education. I'm happy that you guys have a passion for cannabis like I do, but we all have to make sure that we're doing things the right way and we're using cannabis the right way as well. So not everything in this world is positive. Let's make sure of that. Since we're trying to educate people, we can't be all one-sided. There's some negative things to cannabis. Obviously with the smoking and the edibles, it can hit somebody a different way. I always tell people, before you mess around with edibles, I said go slow, okay? Whatever you think your tolerance is, go slow with that, because that's not something you want to mess with, the dosages and take too much, because it's different than smoking. It's going to affect you differently. But there's also some other side effects from smoking. Obviously, everybody knows that first and foremost, bloodshot eyes. You don't want to be smoking a whole butt and have, beet red eyes and go into work. Most, bosses they don't get it. And, we'll talk a little bit later about, being productive when you have some marijuana in your system. But the thing is, there's still a stigma behind marijuana. So when you roll up in your work, bloodshot eyes, and trying to explain to your, boss that I'm gonna do a great job today, he may not be listening to you. So that's a negative effect. Anybody who's dealing with depression, you have to watch your dosage because it could dig you a little deeper into depression, and that's any medication in the world, and that literally anything. It could be coffee, it could be nicotine, it could be tobacco, it could be anything. So just pay attention. It's possible to bring some dizziness. This one here, fast heartbeat, okay? For people who don't smoke a lot or don't ingest a lot of edibles, a fast heartbeat is part of it, okay? It speeds up your heartbeat. It ain't going to get slower. And I was watching an expert the other day and trying to explain to somebody who was saying my heartbeat is fast, and her suggestion was, listen, everybody's heartbeat gets faster. And the worst thing you can do is go to the hospital, okay? Because ain't nothing going to happen to you. You ain't going to die. Just sit down and relax, and you'll catch yourself. But don't trip and don't call the hospital and say, my heart rate is up because I smoke marijuana, because they're going to laugh at you, okay? Because they're not going to tell you to come in because they can't do nothing for you. You ain't going to pump your stomach. There's nothing they can do. So all I'm saying is, especially if you have maybe a little bit too many edibles in you, if you're in the right mind frame, if you ingest too much, relax. That's the best advice I can give you. The worst thing that can happen is you'll fall asleep, okay? Actually, the worst thing that can happen is you go to the hospital and look like a horse's ass. So treat that the right way and know in advance that it's very possible and likely that your heart rate is gonna increase. Also, there's chance for hallucinations and stuff like that, but once again, it doesn't happen very much. You gotta ingest a whole lot. And the low blood pressure, I normally have high blood pressure, so that's not a bad thing for me. So there's a few negative things that come along with marijuana. I just want to make sure people know that, although I believe it is a miracle drug, there are some side effects as well. Now, for those of you that know about me and my past, I played 9 years in the NFL, played football since I was 7 years old. I'm now 53 years old. I've been out of the NFL for 30 something years. Smoking marijuana is not something I did while I played. I talked about that a little bit last week. I wish I would have, and I wish it would have been legal back then, because maybe you take a few less pills, okay? Because I'm not a pill guy. I'm not. I'm scared of pills. I'm terrified of taking pills. Since I've done playing football, I've taken very few pills because I've seen pills ruin lives, okay? I've not seen marijuana ruin lives. Not yet anyways. And my eyes are open. It's around me everywhere. Do yourself a favor and go watch The Dark Side of Football. It's a documentary. There was a Dark Side of the Ring that just came up, and it was mostly about wrestling. And they have an offshoot of it now. They have a Dark Side of Football. And they show the life and times of a lot of former football players. And it's stuff that's right in my era. Actually, one of the main stars of the show was Randy Grimes, who was a center who played beside me here in Tampa Bay in 1990 and 1991. And some of the stories he was telling blew my mind, because when you talk about cannabis and the way it should or shouldn't be legal in certain situations, the alternative is taking a lot of pills. And Randy Grimes, who once again was playing next to me for 2 years, was telling stories of not being able to function without pills, not being able to play without a bunch of pills, and playing on a football field and blacking out and not remembering the game afterwards. So when you talk about alternatives, marijuana is it. Taking a bunch of pills and not remembering a game, it should not be a choice. And you know what happens later on? It tears up your insides. You have issues. None of that is good. So do yourself a favor and watch The Dark Side of Football. Kyle Turley was another name of an offensive lineman, and you hear some of his stories, and basically, for those who have never played the game at a high level, you remember, that Jack Nicholson talking about a few good men, you can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth because what you got to do is play. And there's pressure on NFL football players to play. If you don't play, your coaches stop looking at you, your coaches stop talking to you, and you almost don't exist. So you got to figure out a way to get on the football field. And what they were doing was ingesting a lot of pain pills and anti-inflammatories and a bunch of stuff that's going to kill you later on in life. So if you want to see how the negative part of pills, not marijuana, watch Dark Side of Football. It was very enlightening. And like I said, there was a lot of stuff that was happening during my era. And, I'm going to knock on wood that I stayed away from a lot of that. And I've been very blessed to get to the age of 53 and not have a problem with pills and not have a problem with substances. I like to drink a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I don't have a problem. I check myself every once in a while by cutting it out. And to me, marijuana, in the right way, is not a problem. It's a solution. And once again, like, marijuana is 100 times better than what those doctors were prescribing us back in the day. We didn't know any better. All we knew is that we had to get on the football field and play. Now, the other thing is, I've been hearing since even before I started smoking marijuana that, marijuana is a gateway drug. Not only is it not a gateway drug, for the people that I associate myself with, and, weed head is a negative term. I don't like it, okay? I've been called that before. That's fine. Like, again, once again, the alternative is taking pills. I don't know what you want to call that. Druggie, drug addict, okay, whatever. And not only is it not a gateway drug, most people that I know that are associated with marijuana don't associate themselves with any other drugs, and including cocaine, okay? I've never tried cocaine in my life, and when I die, I guarantee I wouldn't have tried cocaine. I'm not trying it. I've never heard one good story about cocaine, not one. And everybody talks about marijuana being a gateway drug. No, it's not. It's just the safest drug and the first drug. That's all. It doesn't lead to anything. It certainly doesn't lead to cocaine because none of my friends who smoke weed do cocaine. Not in front of me anyways. And they don't talk about it either. So this is a proof right here. There was a new cannabis product that made waves a couple weeks ago, and not in a good way. This company put out a brand that was called Cannabis. Okay, you guys know what a bump is. A bump is something that is, it's in the cocaine world. That's a bump. Basically, Cannabis was a snortable, powdered cannabis concentrate and packed to look like cocaine. So it caught the eye of, I guess, a few industry leaders. It came with a small spoon that you could snort with it, and a card to break it up like cocaine. I don't know. Somebody has too much time on their hands to think about this. I don't know why you would possibly make a marijuana product look and feel like cocaine. That's counterproductive to me because they don't go together. And cocaine people are not attracted to marijuana and vice versa. And I guess by the end of the week, Cannabis could no longer be found in THC Living brand pages or Leafly or Weed Maps. So it was there for a couple weeks. Somebody complained about it. I think it's nonsensical. I would not purchase anything with THC that was trying to be cocaine. To me, that's counterproductive. It doesn't make any damn sense. So, like I said, not only is it not a gateway drug, marijuana people hate cocaine. They hate what cocaine is about. I hate what cocaine is about. If you do cocaine, that's fine. But like I said, I've not really ever heard too many really good cocaine stories, unfortunately. Now, there's some big companies out there that are doing some good things for the marijuana brand in itself. Amazon is a big supporter of cannabis, and legalization is a big deal to them. Amazon employs 1.3 million people in the United States, or actually worldwide. And basically, they're trying to push and get away from this whole prohibition thing with weed, and trying to show people that you can be healthy, productive, and be a good worker when you're smoking marijuana. So they do not test their people anymore, okay, for the most part. So they understand, and you should understand this too, if you're out there and out and about. You may think you know what's happening around you, but there's a lot of very productive people around you that are ingesting and smoking marijuana on a regular basis. Way more than you know, okay? Because I'm somebody, I have my medical marijuana card. At no time in the day is somebody going to go, you're high. Maybe 9:30 at night when I'm sitting on my chair watching hockey or something like that. That might be high then. But I'm not dealing with nobody. So when you take a couple of hits here, a couple of hits there, a couple of hits of the vape pen during the day, you're not walking around like a high idiot. That's the stigma. That's, what should be killed. That's the stigma we have to kill. And we're better than that in 2021. And it's just to the point now where we need more companies like Amazon to let people know that for somebody to lose their job because they're smoking marijuana now is nonsensical. It's too deep into this. Do your reading. There's just too much literature out there that says you can be productive as long as you do it the right way. And that's like everything else in this world. All right. So, hats off to Amazon and some other companies out there that are trying to let people know that, weed is not the end of the world, man. It's actually can be very, very productive. Now, New York State Department of Health, we actually here at the Dignitary Cafe sell a couple Delta 8 products, and Delta 8 is kind of an offshoot of hemp. It's got a smidgen of THC in it, although it cannot be traced. But Delta 8 is something you can get in gummy form. You can also get in powder form. You can put in your coffee that, people are ingesting these days, and it is hemp-based, but Delta 8 gets you high. And the New York State Department of Health are proposing to actually ban it. And I'm actually shocked that, Delta 8 has lasted this long, to be honest with you. And I think a lot of other states are going to follow suit. As a marijuana smoker, as a THC ingester, I don't really mess with Delta 8 too much, but I know some people aren't even like normal smokers. And when they take a Delta 8 gummy, they're feeling it, okay? So I'm letting you people know, if you're not a regular smoker or somebody doesn't ingest it normally, it's something you're going to feel. So I would say if you ever take a Delta 8 product, don't get behind the wheel and make sure you're in a safe place. That's obviously very, very important. Now, the whole COVID thing, coronavirus, came and went real fast. It went from the end of the world to we don't give a shit no more real fast, okay? And we're at the don't give a shit, part of it. There's no doubt in my mind. It went from 2,000 people to 4,000 people at a stadium. Now they're packing stadiums again. So there's where we are. And, different people in the world and in this country are trying to find different ways to get people to get the vaccine. And, the vaccine became very political, okay? And people are doing different things to get people to get the vaccine. And it's just, listen, we're going to be better off if more people get the vaccine. Whether you get it or not, that's up to you. I'm not getting into that shit. That's your world. Go ahead. But people are trying to benefit from it. Like, I got my vaccination shot at CVS. So CVS are not dummies. So you get your vaccination shot right there at CVS, and they give you a coupon for 20% off everything you get in CVS. That's smart. I mean, that brings people back into your business. And people are following suit all around these different states. In Washington State, they had a thing called joints for jabs, all right? And the state liquor and cannabis board said they would allow state licensed cannabis retailers to provide one joint to adult consumers who receive COVID-19 vaccination at an in-store vaccination clinics. Once again, these are just companies who are trying to benefit from people doing the right thing and trying to push people into try to hopefully do the right thing. The vaccine, it was basically in exchange for a marijuana joint and some edibles. And also, in other places, they're talking about snacks for vax. And that is basically you get a free pre-roll joint and an edible cannabis gummy if you go to the dispensary. So different states are trying to figure out different ways to bring people in so we can get to whatever number for herd immunity. And I'm not into that crap no more. I just know this. I got my vaccination. I try to, if somebody says wear a mask, I still wear a mask. I'm not trying to push nobody else into doing it. If you do it for whatever the hell reason you want to. But hey, if you get something free for getting something that's good for you, and that free thing is, marijuana, then you did pretty darn good. Congratulations. Now, there's absolutely no evidence that the vaccine interacts badly with either alcohol or marijuana. Like I said, I got both my vaccination shots. I got the Pfizer, and basically, I didn't feel anything. That doesn't mean anything though, because some people after the first shot they feel terrible. Some people felt really ill after the second shot. Everybody is obviously different. So they're really saying that they're not seeing any evidence that's showing a detriment of using cannabis post or pre-vaccination. And I think that is, that's important anyways. Everybody should feel safe. And for the most part, cannabis is safe. And we don't want to mix it with something else and kind of mess that up. Now, every single week, I like to bring you guys a strain of the week. So I kind of do my field trip over there at Cure Leaf. And I actually went there today. And I hung out, and they always have specials. And like I tell you that every week. Go to Cure Leaf. The first thing I do, I walk in, and they see me coming. My truck's very distinctive. And they see me coming. They go, "Hey, Ian, how you doing?" And I said, "Hey, what you got on special?" That's the first thing I ask. And the guy goes, your lucky day. Buy 3/8, get a 3/8 for free. So I rolled up in Cure Leaf today, got that. And this is here. Every single week they have different strains at Cure Leaf, and they come in these very convenient little containers right here. And every single week they have, they rotate their strains obviously, and everybody has certain strains that suit them or fit them better. This here is one of my favorite strains, and for good reason. First of all, it's a little stronger than a lot of the other ones. A lot of strains are 10, 11, 12%. This strain right here, which is called Brandy Wine, is 17% THC, 1% CBG. Beautiful, beautiful smell. Smokes real clean. And let me tell you a little bit something about what they say about Brandy Wine. This is what they write about this strain. They say Brandy Wine by Dungeons Vault Genetics is a pleasant indica strain with a calming buzz. Created by crossing pink champagne and grandpa's breath. Brandy Wine emits a delicate tea aroma with notes of hops and Chardonnay grapes. So if you're having a nice glass of wine, this would be a nice thing to mix with it. And nothing goes better with wine than some weed. And actually everything goes better with weed. I mean, that's just me talking, and that's a fact. The effects are reminiscent of Granddaddy Purple with relaxing physical attributes that dismiss stress without being overly sedative. So that is good. So it takes your stress away, doesn't have you sleeping and nodding off in meetings, and but it is an indica. So be careful. You don't want to be smoking those too many indicas during the day, because some people don't deal with that. It doesn't really mess with me too much. It says, anticipate squinted eyes and a touch of appetite stimulation as well. A lot of people need that. And he says, this is it says right now, enjoy the strain in a smaller controlled doses to maximize its medical benefit. Brandy Wine won first place indica at the 2017 Dope Awards in Seattle, Washington. Haven't been to the Dope Awards, but I think I would like to go to the Dope Awards here pretty soon. I think that'd be a wonderful thing. And once again, 17% THC, 1% CBG, and the dominant terpene is limonene. But if you're looking for a specific indica, this would be probably my number one suggestion would be Brandy Wine. Brandy Wine is fantastic. It smokes real easy, and this is my go-to. I think I probably have 2 or 3 strains that I go to. Every time I see Brandy Wine at Cure Leaf, I definitely jump on top of that. I also like to push people towards getting their medical marijuana card. And once again, this is part of the education of marijuana. Do things the right way. You want things to treat you the right way, you got to kind of do it the right way. And us here at the Dignitary Cafe, we have an association with drcannabis.com, which is was a bus. And basically, you walk up in the bus. It's probably a 20-minute situation. They got a real doctor in there. He asks you a few questions. I talked to a friend of mine, and they said, well, I got my card the other day, and I went in there, and it was like a real doctor. Yeah. You can't give out a cannabis card without a real doctor. This is some legitimate shit. You know, I'm not going to send you to a bunch of hacks and, you know, they're not doing things the right way. So Dr. Cannabis is going to be here at the Dignitary Cafe June 20th through the 30th. So if you're looking for somebody, if you're somebody who's looking to get their card, June 28th through the 30th, we'll be here at the Dignitary Cafe. Dignitary Cafe is at 4817 South West Shore. And go to Dr. Cannabis. Now that's Dr. CANNABUS.com. And they'll tell you the dates. Once again, June 28th through the 30th. And I just suggest you get your card. And there it is right there. And actually use the promo code Dignitary. You save some money as well. So take advantage of this, people. Take advantage of that. And also on your calendar, put on 7/10, which is July 10th. The Cannafest is going to be called. Dignitary Cannafest. Curaleaf's going to be involved. Creative Loafing is going to be involved. We're going to have some really cool people. Some of the vendors that I saw at the Sarasota event, they're going to be there. There's going to be some people selling bongs and ready-made water pipes and lots of different things. There'll be some hemp. And it'll just be, if this is your world, if cannabis is your world, July 10th at the Pepin Distributing, Hospitality Distributing is going to be the place for you. And listen, when I throw a party the right way. And there's going to be some cool people, good-looking people to look at, some great music, and obviously you get some literature and some education on cannabis, which is obviously an important thing. Thank you again. Goes to Radio Influence, WeBeam TV. Hopefully you guys are listening to some of my other podcasts as well. I have a podcast on government. I also have a football podcast called In the Trenches. Definitely want to be listening to Beckles and Retcher, which is on Monday through Friday, 3 to 7. But I appreciate you guys tuning in every single week. Get out there and smoke something delicious. I know I will. Peace out.
For more information on medical cannabis, make sure to follow Ian Beckles on Twitter @Ian Beckles. This has been the Cannabis Podcast on Radio Influence.